When was that moment you knew you needed to make a fresh start?
It was a really, really, really dark time for me. I made the big call to move my whole life back to Canada and start fresh.
Change is a constant, whether we choose it or not. How do Canadians deal with change? I'll ask my passengers, and they'll tell us. This is a chilly Calgary drive. You're nervous.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine.
This will be great, guys. This will be great. When was the moment you knew you needed to make a fresh start, Eva?
And I was trying to make it as a singer-songwriter who played guitar and wrote her songs. I ran into some people in the industry who didn't treat me very nicely, and this was right around that Me Too movement. And I found myself kind of like confused at a crossroads in terms of like my values and integrity and where I wanted to head in life. So once I felt ready, I was like, you know what? I'm smart, I'm intelligent enough, I'm gonna go back to university, and currently I'm gonna finish my psychology degree at the end of this school year. So we're gonna see where that takes me.
Guillermo?
When I was in my early 20s and I realized that I was maybe drinking a little too hard and partying a little too much and I needed to do something with my life. So I cut my hair and got a real job. I was working as a production coordinator. I learned a ton from it. When I was laid off, it was kind of a kick in the teeth because you sweat for it and you bleed for it, and then they kind of cut you loose. That was the first moment where I said, I gotta pick myself up and do something with myself. And so I decided to use all my powers for good, and that's where I am now. This last reawakening was a moment of like, I'm not getting a job. The Calgary market is undesirable to say the least, but I found myself applying to over 100 jobs and no call, well, I had 2 callbacks. This last kind of like moment of reawakening was like, I'm gonna use all that I learned and do something for myself.
John, when was that moment for you where it was like, you got a fresh start now?
Yeah, I can remember like to the second, actually. I'm not sure if I've told you guys, but a few years ago I lost my son to cancer.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That was when I was living in Japan, where I'd been for about a decade at the time. I used to run a chain of restaurants. About a month after he passed, I went on the bender that I thought was going to end my life, but did not. And I said, this is not any way to pay legacy to your child's honor. This is no way to live. And it was a really, really, really dark time for me. I made the big call to move my whole life back to Canada and start fresh, like a brand new Canadian.
How have you been navigating the financial challenges of it all?
I kind of got a relief financially when I went back to school because I'm able to get student loans. So that's been a very nice kind of relief of being able to just work part-time. I teach yoga at the University of Calgary and at the medical school. I also DJ, which is a nice source of income on the side.
Guillermo, how have you navigated the financial challenges?
I've never come from a level of privilege. I've always been frugal with my money. I've always been lean.
John.
So the reason I'm in Calgary is my girlfriend was headhunted by a company here. So we came out here.
Yep.
My whole career, I've been starting anew in another city, often where I don't even speak the language. So I figured, oh, Calgary's gonna be easy. But it's not been. It's a tough nut to crack. And so, yeah, there's been some very tight times, and my girlfriend luckily does well for a living.
So we talked a whole lot about the reinvention and getting started again. What's everyone doing now?
I just finished applying for medical schools this year, and I'm waiting to see if I'm gonna get in for next year.
That deserves a round of applause. That's big. Guillermo, what about you?
We are right now going through the incorporation process for our nonprofit.
There we go.
We are a collective that really encourages youth to share their stories through media in a inclusive, most importantly, safe way. You know, people put stuff out there. Yeah. They don't really know what they're doing. They're young and they just want to. They want to be the next YouTube star. So we're trying to get them to do it safely. Man.
So what are you doing now, John?
I've run my own consulting firm for years. I work as a consultant to businesses who need help with growth strategy or training, or like if it's restaurants, I'm usually designing their menu and training kitchen staff and things like that. When my contract ends, I have to go out and fight and find the next one.
This drive has been amazing. For us to hear each other's stories and share and connect, I think it's been awesome. RBC would like to thank you all for jumping in the car with me and gift you with a $500 prepaid gift card.
What?
Loaded.
Yeah. Thanks, RBC.
Yeah.
Given the nature we've been all talking about Could anybody use $500 today?
Oh my God, anytime.
Because I could.
You took the words out of my mouth, my friend.